DeepSeek really shook up the markets earlier this week and caused so many reflections upon investment in AI and development of AI in this country. What sort of pressure does that put on Apple specifically with its Apple Intelligence product?
It's probably put a relief on Apple, because if DeepSeek does advance some of these third-party models and basically creates an environment where the primary models like GPT or Gemini will have to lower their price to compete with more of these open source, that benefits Apple from two perspectives. First is that as you use Apple Intelligence and it goes and taps into OpenAI, for example, there is a cost that comes to Apple for those tokens. That's how it's measured. The usage is measured, and they sell tokens. As the price of those comes down, driven by DeepSeek, that's a positive for Apple. And separately is Apple's app developers who are building these AI tools need to be aware of the costs that these apps have in terms of pulling in the token cost. And lowering the token cost should promote more AI development within the apps. And so that's why you saw Apple move up on the DeepSeek news. And I think that more broadly, I mean, this has been, I've been around tech for a while, and what I've seen this week related to DeepSeek is, I think, captured in the concept that the market is now, the NASDAQ is now flat from where it closed on Friday. And I think that essentially the commentary from Apple about how they can benefit from this, to answer your question, Mike, specifically.
They focus in a long way on end-to-end AI security. They talk up their chips, they talk up private servers. Is that going to be integral to a consumer when we're thinking about using Chinese apps when it comes to artificial intelligence?
So for U.S. consumers and Western consumers, they're probably not going to want to use a model. I suspect most people will not want to use a model that's based in China. And part of it is because I think this data integrity question, that's something that matters more for people who are over 35 years old. When through our research, we've seen that younger demographics tend not to care. I think the whole TikTok example is a pretty clear example. People just want the content, and I think some of the potential downfalls to using some platforms, it's just not top of radar. But to answer your question is that Apple will brand around security, of course, with AI. And the benefit, I think, with DeepSeek or some other third-party open source AI within China is that Apple really needs to fill that AI hole in terms of Apple Intelligence. Who is their partner in China?
Let's just talk about Apple Intelligence that we just heard from Mark Gurman. I know you speak with him. He's been saying, look, you, the analyst community and the investor community, will give Apple a 2-quarter grace period to get this intelligence side right. Is that the sort of length of time we need?
I think actually investors are going to give probably a little bit more room and probably give a pass largely on fiscal 2025. And if you look at the street numbers right now, they're after these adjustments last night, iPhone growth is going to be around 3%. It steps up to 8% in fiscal 26. And so I think that as long as that carrot is out there, and Apple did a good job of reminding investors that carrot's there, because in markets that Apple Intelligence is available, they said sales did better than in the other markets. As long as that carrot's out there, I think you're going to see this this trend towards investors focused on what this breakout potentially could look like. And I would just say this, and Mark's done an incredible job of reporting on the features on Apple Intelligence, the timing, all these. And from my perspective, I think that they still fall well short of what needs to happen for these products to really get people excited and tell their friends to buy it. I think they're going to get there. I'm an Apple shareholder. Our firm owns it. I think they're going to get there. But I think that the product needs not only more distribution over the next few quarters, but the feature set really needs to get pumped up.
Gene, in China, we saw Apple report inventory issues there, but soon they're going to have some geopolitical ones, perhaps, thanks to tariffs that Donald Trump is threatening against the world's second largest economy. How do you see Apple navigating that later this year if that happens?
Well, just quickly on the tariff side, there was the second to last question on the call last night, and Cook just said we're monitoring the situation. So he basically sidestepped the question. I think most investors believe that there is just no risk to the tariffs, given what happened 7, 8 years ago. They're able to navigate around that. So this probably is more of a risk to Apple stock, just given I think that most investors are complacent on what this potentially could mean. I think it's going to be fine. I think they're going to be able to navigate that. But I think there's something bigger going on in China, potentially something bigger going on. When you see Huawei, their phone sales up 15% in the December quarter, and Samsung and Apple, if you adjust for the channel inventory, down 3, 4, 5, 6%, it begs a question, is it about lack of AI features, or is there some sort of shift that Chinese consumers, some sort of bias maybe towards more homegrown products? And this goes beyond Apple and Samsung, but maybe a thing about like how Tesla could be impacted. And the Chinese government does an amazing job of being able to kind of steer how public sentiment is around some of these products. And that's kind of in the back of my mind about something else may be going on. This isn't just China economy's weak in a quarter, and that negatively impacts iPhone.
In a way.
Exactly.
And
patriotism, well said.
I mean, with 30 seconds to go, give marks out of 10 for this earnings season this week with Tesla there, Meta too.
I think the fundamentals were more a 6 out of 10. It was okay, nothing. But I think what was most important as far as the atopic DeepSeek, the commentary about how they feel AI is going to proceed and the spending around that, it was a 10 out of 10.